When life gets overwhelming, most people pull out their phone for surface level relief. This learned habit provides us with a quick hit of dopamine, but never provides real satisfaction. The next time we need a quick break, we'll run back to the same apps that we did just 30 minutes earlier. This cycle continues day in and day out while we're at home, while we're at work, and even while we're out in public. Regardless of how boring or repetitive this action might feel, we're chasing that next feeling of a notification, a text, or a new post. But what if we, even part of the time, pulled out a notebook to write in instead of pulling out our phones to continue scrolling? What's up? My name is Eric. I'm a photographer and filmmaker turned writer, and it is my mission to help you find more meaning in your work. Follow along if you're interested in journaling, writing, notebooks, and building a business that is built around your interests. Today, I'm going to be talking about the simple idea of putting down your phone and instead picking up a notebook. Let's dive right into it. I have been using pocket notebooks since 2017. Before that, I was using retired school notebooks as journals since 2013, and even long before that, I remember having a designated time in elementary school to write or draw in a journal. Ever since I discovered this exercise, I've loved it. It provides an escape from the hustle of daily life. It causes us to take a deep breath and be present, and it drowns out the noise around us, allowing us to document any and everything that comes to mind. It's like having therapy with yourself. The main problem is that taking time to pull out your notebook and write in it feels like a major chore compared to the ease of scrolling on our smartphones. With our smartphones readily available at any given moment throughout the day, we literally have a world of information at our fingertips waiting to be consumed. And that is what we typically tend to do. Consume more and more and more information. Whether it's bad news, breaking news, headlines, gossip, and really anything that will catch our attention, the more negative that it is, the more likely we are to click on it. This has caused a majority of smartphone users to become full-time consumers. Instead of taking the time to think for ourselves, we consume information, stories, videos, and posts all day, every day. If information was measured in calories, we would all be extremely obese. And that is the exact result of this constant dopamine chase, information bloat. As humans, we can really only handle so much information. We were not wired to keep up with everything that's going on across the entire globe. Realistically, we aren't even meant to keep up with the 500 or more friends that we follow on social media, simply because our brains do not know how to process that much information without an extreme feeling of overwhelm. How are we to feel compassion for the dozens of heartbreaking things happening in our social media feeds every single day? We're stretching our information intake further and further until it's eventually bound to snap. Fortunately, we have other options. The opposite of consumption is creation. How would the world look different if a majority of people were stuck in a repetitive cycle of creation instead of consumption? What if we pulled out a notebook to document our lives instead of pulling out our phones to distract us? Like a smartphone, a notebook can be used in hundreds of different ways. The options are truly limitless. Keeping a notebook handy, whether it's in your pocket or a purse, gives us another option to choose from when boredom strikes. It's no longer just our phone to keep us entertained. The pocket notebook is another fun, unique, and healthier option because, unlike our phones, a notebook has nothing to prove. It isn't designed with addictive behaviors in mind. It isn't showing you ads, commercials, or opinions. It actually isn't providing you with any information at all, only the things that you decide are worth writing in it. For once, you are in control of what is allowed into your mind. And the most important part of pulling out a notebook instead of pulling out your phone is that it gives you a second to breathe. It gives you a second to think. It gives you a second to observe. It gives you a second to listen, not just to receive another piece of worthless information. I understand that the memes and the cats and the dogs and all the fun stuff is entertaining, but how much of it do you really need in any given day? When pulling out your notebook, there are a couple different ways to use it. Number one is to review the things that you've already written, and number two is to write down something entirely new. This is important because you can set up the notebook however you like. If there are certain things that you want to dwell on throughout the day, simply write them down and review them whenever you have a spare moment. And if you decide that you want to write something new down, this gives you a moment to create instead of a moment to consume more information scrolling on your phone. If you want some specific journal prompts to dwell on in your notebook, you can sign up for my free course, the Content Clarity Crash Course. I'll have a link down below in the description. Here are 6 different ways that you can use a notebook for your everyday life. You can write down any ideas that come to your mind throughout the day. You can take notes from books that you read. You can create a to-do list for your day or week. You can document what's happened that day. You can doodle a design or a drawing, and you can journal about your thoughts, feelings, and ideas. The best part about a notebook is that there are no rules. You can use it however you see fit. No matter what you create with it, it's almost always going to be a better use of your time than mindlessly scrolling on your phone. If you're burdened by the constant noise and distraction of a smartphone, I would encourage you to carry around a notebook. It will provide you with a controlled source of consumption and a blank slate of dozens of pages for creation. We were not created to consume, we were created to contribute. With this notebook, you can dwell on things that you care about and create things that are meaningful to you. You never know what could be a result of this simple habit change. If you want some specific journal prompts to dwell on in your notebook, you can sign up for my free course, the Content Clarity Crash Course. I'll have a link down below in the description. I also have a couple other resources down there, including my newsletter called the Stoke Seminar, where I send an email each Saturday to encourage and equip you to seek your Stoke. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. My name is Eric. Peace out.